Type of fire under control, but death toll continues to rise. Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office senior officials arrived in the city to support relief work. And 3 men under arrest on suspicion of manslaughter in connection with the Type of fire. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The deadly fire at Wang Fuk Court in Taipo has been burning for over a day and is still not extinguished. Bodies of residents have been found at the scene, bringing the death toll to 55. More than 200 people remain unaccounted for.
The deadly fire at Wang Fuk Court in Taipo has been burning all night last night and into the day today. Of the 8 buildings in the housing estate, 7 are severely damaged. By about 2 p.m., the fires in 4 buildings were largely extinguished. The fires in the remaining 3 buildings were effectively controlled. Firefighters continue to spray water to cool the buildings from the middle floors. The fire ladders continue to operate. Some units were still emitting thick smoke. The scars of the fire are visible everywhere. The entire scaffolding, along with the fencing, was burned and peeled off. The exterior walls were also severely blackened. Firefighters indicated that the scaffolding was at risk of collapse. The large area of the exterior walls, surrounded by bamboo scaffolding and canvas, allowed the fire to spread rapidly, making rescue efforts difficult. However, they emphasized they would not give up. Of the more than 300 calls for help received, all cases in 4 buildings have been resolved. The remaining 3 buildings have over 60 cases requiring assistance.
Wang
Wing, Deputy Director of Fire Services, said at this stage they would not assess the survival rate of those seeking assistance. He said firemen have to withstand very high temperatures, carefully climbing up floor by floor. They had to break down doors in each unit for a thorough search to rescue any survivors. He said they have not given up. A large number of residents were waiting outside the police cordon, hoping to receive news of their missing relatives as soon as possible. This woman said she tried to call her sister and brother-in-law but could not find them. In the afternoon, the police set up a missing persons identification point at the Wang Fuk Community Hall, where a large number of citizens are searching for missing relatives. Mr. Hu said his granddaughter and mother-in-law have been missing for over 20 hours. He felt very desperate. Mr. Jones said his wife has been missing since 7 p.m. last night, and he has prepared for the worst, saying both she and her beloved cat may be gone. After 1 day of battling, the fire is still ablaze. When the wind blows over, I can smell it and feel the stink in my eyes. If you look through some of the apartments, you can see the orange flames and heavy smoke billowing up to the sky. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
Police arrested 3 suspects in charge of Wang Fuk Court's repair works on suspicion of manslaughter. They included construction company's 2 directors and 1 engineering consultant, aged 52 to 68. The Independent Commission Against Corruption has also set up a task force to investigate suspected corruption in connection with a maintenance project at Wang Fuk Court.
At around 9 a.m., plainclothes police officers took away one of the suspects from the office of Prestige Construction and Engineering Company Limited at Tai Yao Street in Sanpo Kong. They boarded a private car and headed to the police station with computers, documents and other evidence seized. Prestige Construction and Engineering Company is responsible for the exterior wall repair works of Wang Fuk Court. The police's preliminary investigation found that the protective nets, protective films, waterproof tarpaulin, and plastic sheets installed on the exterior walls allegedly did not meet fire prevention standards. At the building that was spared from the raging fire, it was found that the windows outside each lift lobby had been sealed with styrofoam boards. The police say styrofoam is a very flammable object. so they do not rule out that these items could have led to the rapid spread of this blaze. As the styrofoams outside the windows were installed by the construction company, the police believe the incident might have been caused by the gross negligence of the firm's persons in charge. The police also brought one of the suspects and returned to his apartment in Hamei Sanchun, a Yunlong village, to collect evidence for around 20 minutes. It is understood that the suspect is the director and operation manager of Prestige Construction. Another suspect, reportedly the authorized signatory of Prestige Construction's projects, was escorted to his Ma'anshan apartment to assist with investigations. Consulting firm Willpower Architects Company is in charge of the repairs work for Wang Fuk Court. Its office was open in the morning. Its staff declined to respond to the matter.
As of 6 p.m., 80 injured residents from Wang Fuk Court were taken to hospitals. Among them, 58 remain hospitalized, 12 of whom are in critical condition. After daybreak, more survivors were found. Many required oxygen masks to help breathe. Some were later rushed to the Prince of Wales Hospital for treatment. Secretary for Health Professor Lo Chung-Mao says the most serious cases usually involve inhalation injuries, with many now being treated in the intensive care unit and on a ventilator. Others suffered burns and carbon monoxide poisoning. One patient has been transferred to the Pamela Youth Nethersoul Eastern Hospital for hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Two deputy directors of the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office of the central government, Xu Qifang and Nong Rong, are leading a working group to Hong Kong to assist in disaster relief efforts. Zhou Ji, director of the liaison office of the central government, and Nong Rong, deputy director of the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office, visited disaster victims at the Tai Po Community Center this morning. Nong Rong is leading the working group. Zhou Ji said the two were asked by Xia Baolong, director of the Hong Kong Macau Affairs Office, to convey President Xi Jinping's condolences to the disaster victims. Chief Executive John Lee visited the fire-ravaged Wang Fuk Court in Tai Po in the afternoon. He also announced each victim of the blaze will receive $10,000 tonight for emergency assistance. Nearly 1,000 youth dormitories or hotel rooms are now available to house the victims for the coming 1 to 2 weeks, and after that, follow-up arrangements would be made. At around 4 p.m., Chief Executive John Lee, accompanied by Chief Secretary for Administration Eric Chan and Secretary for Security Chris Tang, headed to Wang Fuk Court. Fire Services Department head Andy Yearn briefed the city leader over the latest rescue situation. They also inspected the damage from the blaze from the rooftop of a nearby parking lot before going on to encourage frontline firefighters and paramedics in their rescue and relief efforts. After returning to the government headquarters, the CE says the government will earmark $300 million in an aid fund for Wang Fuk Court residents. He also thanked Beijing's Hong Kong Macau Affairs Office for having assisted in the rescue work. He reveals that the SAR government has drawn up a list of supplies and support needed from the mainland. They include more surveying drones and conveyor belts. He said that the government will hold memorial activities with celebrations cancelled for some time to come. Principal officials will reduce attendance at non-essential public events. Welcome back. The Home Affairs Department opened 8 temporary shelter centers where some 900 Wang Fuk Court residents are seeking refuge. The tragedy has also sparked an outpouring of care and support from volunteers who are providing help and donating supplies, to eateries pitching in to feed the hearts and stomachs of victims. Corporations from Hong Kong and the mainland have also set up funds for relief efforts. Leading the way was a Hong Kong Jockey Club with a $100 million donation.
Overnight, the inferno engulfed homes as the flames tore through Wang Fuk Court, leaving smoldering ruins. Many displaced residents spent the night at the temporary shelter of the Church of Christ in China Feng Lan Kid Memorial Secondary School. Many are senior citizens. Some say there's food to eat, water to drink, and blankets to keep warm. With a surplus of supplies, everything's thoughtfully arranged. In moments of crisis, the city spirit shone through. Sacks of supplies outside of the center, testament of how the community rallied to offer help. Many were delivered voluntarily by citizens. One of the volunteers say there's a group chat showing where help is needed, and they just wish to support the firefighters, victims, and frontline workers. Another volunteer from the district says everyone just wants to chip in to provide some relief. In the morning, truckloads of supplies arrived one after another. When a center had enough supplies, volunteers redirected resources to another center in need. This volunteer, also from the neighborhood, has been helping to sort out the supplies overnight and will head straight to school later. Another temporary shelter at the Taipo Community Center sees overflowing supplies as well. A Kuntao resident here is volunteering to help with efforts to locate missing people, noting that he just wants to ease some burdens in the relief work as much as he could. Care teams could be seen handing out supplies around Wang Fuk estate. Some eateries also served up free meals in hopes of bringing some solace and warmth to those afflicted by the fatal blaze. Some Hong Kong and mainland enterprises and organizations have also chipped in. The Li Ka-shing Foundation announced an immediate allocation of 30 million Hong Kong dollars of an emergency relief fund to support communities affected by the blaze. The foundation will also allocate a further $50 million for follow-up and rebuilding support. The community chest has also earmarked $15 million to set up funds for emergency financial assistance to Taipo fire victims. All the funds raised at this Walks for Millions on Sunday will be funneled into the fund. The Li Shaoqi Foundation and the Fok Ying Tong Foundation will each donate $30 million. Chow Tai Fook Group donated $20 million. Sino Group and the Ng Teng Fong Charitable Foundation have also allocated $20 million, with their hotels having prepared 160 rooms to provide free accommodation to victims in need. DBS Hong Kong, KWA Group, and Francis Lui also donated $10 million. Mainland enterprises and funds also contributed. Jack Ma Foundation donated $30 million. Alibaba Group donated the first batch of $20 million for post-disaster transitional resettlement. Mainland sports brand Antec Group donated $10 million in cash and $20 million worth of supplies. Tencent Charity Foundation, Hong Kong Xiaomi Foundation, ByteDance Hong Kong, BYD each donated $10 million.
Our reporter Samantha Lee is on the ground in Taipo for a second day. Samantha, how's the latest?
Fire here is still burning, but the situation has improved a lot compared to yesterday. So let's take a look at the situation out here. As you can see, the orange flames are more visible as night falls. And the firefighters are now battling the blaze with aerial ladders. And it's now around dinner time, so some volunteers came to the podium and give out meal boxes to the homeless residents, and also some other supplies such as water, snacks, and hand warmers. And we will stay here for more updates. For now, back to you in the studio.
And that's our reporter Samantha Lee on the ground for a second day. Multiple countries, meanwhile, have expressed their condolences to the victims of the Taipo fire. British Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper described the blaze as truly devastating and deeply depressing. She said Britain sends heartfelt condolences to all the families affected and to the people of Hong Kong. Canada's Foreign Minister Anita Anand said she was deeply saddened by the fire, offering her deepest condolences to the families and friends of the victims, wishing them a speedy recovery. The consuls or consulates general of the United States, France, Germany, Japan, and others in Hong Kong expressed their sympathy, as did Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese.
Look, my heart goes out to the people who've lost their lives and the people who are searching and concerned about loved ones.
When the fire in Taipo was raging, a Filipino domestic helper braved the blaze and carried a newborn baby out of the fire scene. She is now in critical condition, and 2 Indonesian helpers were killed in the fire. Samantha Lee has more.
Foreign domestic workers are among the casualties in a Taipo fire. The Consulate General of Indonesia in Hong Kong said on Thursday that 2 Indonesian helpers were killed and 2 were injured in the fire. The Consulate General expressed its deepest sympathy. The Philippine Consulate General in Hong Kong issued a statement on Thursday afternoon that it has not received any confirmed reports of Filipinos killed or injured as a result of the fire. It added due to the scale of the calamity, it would take some time before these reports are confirmed. On social media, it was reported that amid the heavy blaze, Rodora Alcaraz, a Filipino domestic helper who had only arrived in Hong Kong a couple of days ago, was trapped in the flat with her employer and a baby during the fire. The domestic helper contacted her sister in the Philippines for help. When she was later rescued and taken to the United Christian Hospital for treatment, she was holding a 3-month-old baby. As we visited the intensive care unit this afternoon, a doctor informed that Alcaraz was in critical condition. The doctor said she is currently undergoing intubation and may need to be transferred to another hospital for further treatment once her condition stabilizes. When we contacted her brother in the Philippines, he said he is praying for his sister's safety. The Filipino domestic helper living in a property near Wang Fuk Court claimed 22 Filipino helpers were missing and 5 have been found, but she said the helpers are concerned that their identification documents may have been lost in the fire. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
The Chinese embassy in Japan has reinforced its reminder to its citizens to avoid traveling to the country in the near future. Reports have also emerged that when U.S. President Donald Trump recently spoke with Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, he advised her government against provoking China on the Taiwan issue. Nasri Karim with more.
China's embassy in Japan said the security environment in the country has continued to deteriorate in recent years. Since July, it has reported a significant increase of incidents in Japan of discrimination against Chinese citizens and requests for assistance. Recently, several Chinese citizens traveling in Japan reported being verbally abused, assaulted and injured without provocation. The embassy again emphasized that Chinese citizens should avoid traveling to Japan in the near future. Those already in Japan are advised to enhance their awareness of the situation, take care of their safety and strengthen self-protection. The Wall Street Journal reported that Takaichi had a phone conversation with Trump at the U.S. president's request. The report, citing sources, said Trump asked Takaichi to stop provoking China on Taiwan, suggesting she soften her stance. However, Trump reportedly did not ask Takaichi to retract her remarks, in which she said any conflict in the Taiwan Strait may prompt a Japanese military response. The report said Trump does not want the Taiwan situation to threaten easing U.S.-China relations amid a Chinese commitment to purchase U.S. soybeans and other agricultural products. Takaichi reportedly explained to Trump the difficulties he faced in domestic politics, making it difficult to fully retract her comments. Trump had earlier spoken with President Xi Jinping. The U.S. president had reportedly told Xi that Washington understood the importance of Taiwan to China. Meanwhile, mainland media said that since November, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has shifted from warning against revival of Japanese militarism to resolutely opposing any attempts to revive it. Japan's recent military upgrades include plans to deploy medium-range air defense missiles on Yonaguni Island near Taiwan. Beijing sees it as attempts by Japan to break free from the military constraints imposed on Tokyo after the end of the Second World War. Meanwhile, Taiwan's leader Lai Ching-te has announced a special $40 billion budget for arms purchases, including to build air defense system with high-level detection and interception capabilities called Taiwan Dome. Nazri Karim, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.